Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I thought I'd share with you the fun that I had doing the gel plate printing. It's very addictive and the backgrounds are gorgeous. There are a few tips in there as well. Okay, the packaging has got a seal on the inside. So take the two pieces of film off and keep the packaging. It'll keep your gel plate nice and fresh and prevent it from going hard. As you can see, I've got a range of colours. Spot the cat. I've used all sorts of acrylics there, from fine art acrylics to cheap pound shop acrylics. And to be honest, the ones I found the best were the cheaper ones. But it does depend. Spot of yellow and a bit of ochre, yellow ochre. It's probably a burnt sienna. Olive browns. I dotted it on just to give it a bit of colour everywhere rather than all in one place. The burnt orange probably. Yep, definitely burnt orange. Some of the acrylics I've had for so long they dried a bit. I think the yellow ochre is the one that I'm trying to smush in a bit. So some really old stamps, wooden stamps. The only trouble was because they were square, picked up the square and not just the word. I think it just said love on it. So it didn't just pick up the word, it just picked up the square. But I think it came out nice. So I'm using firm pressure, but I'm not pushing really hard. You can see the yellow ochre hasn't quite moved in, but I quite like the splots of colour. Most people clean after they've taken an impression, but I like to keep all the colours on there. As it dries, more colours come out on the next print. Oh, brown again. I do love brown. So I'm just giving it a bit of a layer on the top just to use up what was already on there. The little mini brayer is a ranger. I so enjoyed this experimenting night. I've bought the 12-inch jelly plate so I can really go to town. That's due tomorrow. All excited. I've run out of paper. I really liked how that came out on the second print. looks like black, orange and black. Surprised by the yellow. Changed my mind. Probably gone hard. So I'm really going very lightly on this one because I want to keep the blobs. I do like that pattern when it comes out. Just pressing down a bit of burlap. Or Hessian burlap. And I just love that. Came up just as I wanted all the spots. I'm just going to drop a little bit of teal to pick up what was left. Use what was on my brayer. Acrylic underneath would have dried by now, so this is the teal will just be the base. I did a quick one and absolutely stunning. I loved that background. Very Sean Petit-esque. And if you haven't checked out Sean Petit's videos, you should. He makes it awesome backgrounds. My intention on this, because it was so dark, I wanted a background to my my paper. And what I've done since is just ripped it up in bits and used it on projects with the black and white facing, and then you've got that dark green background which is quite subtle with the white of the paper, tissue paper through it. It's very effective. If you want to see a picture of what I've used that tissue paper on with the green background, it's on the Mercurial Beast on Instagram. It's the one that ended up Chinese. The yellow Mercurial Beast on it. Mould from Zurich. Looks like I've gone for the same colours here. Almost. So those red rubber stamps, I have no idea if the company still exists, but they were bought 15 years ago from My Sentiments Exactly, an American-based company, and I had it, I should imagine, about a kilo of rubber stamps. They came with no backing or anything. It was just the rubber stamps. I believe they were going over to polymer. I had a bargain. Using stamp. Where's stamp? No, can't say it. Stampers Anonymous. I loved that. It's an awesome background. Get a good second print off it as well. So I'm just using a tiny bit now just to fill up the little gaps and then take another print. My Mars black ended up very lumpy. Like I said, I've had them years. Probably the same as everybody else, your hands get mucky. Look at that, I loved that one. A bit disappointed with the black lumps, but they did come up nice. So I'm just pressing into the gel there. Take some of the paint off. Use a negative image then. Awesome. I could have gone on all night doing this. I spent about 2 hours doing it. I could have sat there literally all night just printing. I don't know if anybody else feels like that when they're gel printing. I can't wait for the 12 by 12 to come because I know I'll spend more than 2 hours just printing. At least not one knot. There's a tiny bit left, but none left to leave for something else. So I'm not bothered that there's some bits left on there because that will get picked up from another print. Changing colours, going for the green. Yeah, I thought I'd better brush the brown off with or wipe it off with a baby wipe, as my green will become brown as well. Clean it already, Leah. Oh, surprise, yellow. Must have been in a happy mood that night. Well, I was actually. I would have kept on going, but after 2 hours, but my husband needed to go to bed, so okay, I'll finish up. 10 minutes later he comes back, I'm not finished yet, just finishing. So when I'm trying to keep those dots, I'm very, very lightly going over it so it doesn't smoosh it too much. Doesn't look like anything came up, but when you see the pull off, don't notice it. I loved that one. I love them all. It was a Deco Art teal. It's very transparent, so I'm just going over it just to give it that base layer, so that the base layer will sit on the white paper and you can see what's underneath. There you go. Don't waste anything, chuck it all on the jelly plate. I think that's a real dark brown. I don't think it's actually black. I thought it was black, but it's not. Look at that for a colour. That'd make an awesome large background. There we are, hobbylicious receipt. Complete change now, we're on the blue. I believe that's the lumpy black. Oh no, that is a match pot tester from a DIY store. I thought I might as well try it. I have loads left from changing over redoing some furniture. I made my own chalk paint out of it. It worked quite well. I have loads of those pots left. Not so much of that blue because I use that blue an awful lot. These are All and Create stamps designed by Olga. So I love the wing, but I just wanted some background. I kind of liked what came off, but it was a little bit too wet. So that just meant I just had to go lighter and just get more prints off. There's probably still enough on there to do another one. But if in doubt, add more. Oh yes, I add more. Probably by now the stuff on the bottom's dried. Should get a good pickup on the next take off. Didn't want a lot of that one, obviously. See, it was still too wet even then. Wanted those dots in there. Maybe not quite like that, but I did like it in the end. Like I said, some of those acrylics are so old, they're drying. A couple of them I opened and they were rock solid. Bit embarrassing, but still. Just an excuse to buy more colours. I think I was eeny, meeny, miny, moeing on which stamp to use. Yet again, part of the same set that Olga designed. And I do love this stamp. Came out great on the backgrounds. Look at that, loved it. I thought I'd try it the reverse and see if, because there was nothing left on the plate, whether I could re-stamp what I'd taken off and put back on, but it didn't quite work out. I thought waste not, want not, it'll end up on there anyway. All my sentiments exactly with the stamps. I don't know if that place is still going. Okay, so I've got my platform out. Show you a trick with the wing. Wish I'd done it before, but I used a piece of parchment and turned it over last time. I'm just checking. So I put the stamp flat side up. so it gets picked up on the lid, and then the plate's underneath. I've got a juicy pad. I think it's the Versafine. Probably could have found a juicier one. Then printed it onto the jelly plate. Wasn't quite sure it was juicy enough, so I did it again, just to make sure. It's a little bit darker this time. Pushed my piece of paper over it. Let it soak in as well. So make sure you leave nothing really on the jelly plate. I didn't quite leave it on long enough. Just at the end there, I re-inked it. I had thought about putting another one on the back, so I could have had double-sided. Anyway, changed my mind. So it's a little bit more faded, but I think if you use a bit of black, yeah, so as you can tell, does it or doesn't it work? If you use a bit of black embossing powder, I'm sure that will come up just as well. So I'm just used a bit background colour, a little bit of yellow. Trying to do it as light as I possibly can. I used a light colour because I'll show you what I'm pulling off. And there be wings. Imprint of the wings still there. So anyway, I played with a few watercolours, magicals, sprays, oxides. I think that's frayed burlap lying down. A few of the Phil Martin Cosmic Shimmer sprays. Tried it on watercolour card. I'd rather just spray on the card, to be honest, but I did like these Distress Oxide pads. Just dragged them down the jelly plate and blended the middle bit so there wasn't a sharp edge. I really liked what came off. Possibly could have blended it a bit more. Looks like sea and evening sky. I just wet it then and pulled off more. I could have kept going probably for another 3, just getting wet in using watercolour card. I think it's the Spectrum Noir watercolour card. Just noticed my table's a bit wobbly. It's about 8 foot long and very narrow.